How does the BJP manages to win so many elections? Since 2014, it has won more elections than it has lost. How did it build the world's largest political party? A party which was once reduced to just 2 seats in Lok Sabha is today the world's largest political party, but in terms of number of members. So how did it manage? Was it communalism? Was it Hindutva? Or was it a personal appeal of Prime Minister Modi? Or was it something else? Let's discover the new BJP through Nalin Mehta's beautifully written book, The New BJP. Keep watching. Hello everyone, welcome once again to wale Bhaiya. I am Abhishek and today we are discussing a very I would say important book, The New BJP by Nalin Mehta. And this is important as this is a book which tells you about the electoral success of BJP and how it manages to win elections after election, how it gained a foothold in areas or in cities where it was not earlier, how it became the largest political party and gained mass appeal. It's a very detailed book. It's 800 plus pages book, but let me tell you one thing, if in case you are thinking of not reading this book just because of the sheer number of pages, please do not do that. It's a highly readable and very easy to read account of the BJP, and in fact effectively the number of pages are way less than 800 plus. And what this book tells you, I believe no other book tells you. So if you are interested in knowing about the history, the political history of India and the history of BJP, because it is there since almost 1952 when it was Jansangh. So you actually can't look at each other in isolation. BJP is there in the political history of India, and political history of India has some connection, of course, with the BJP. So let's discover what this book has to offer. As I said, it's a detailed book, and in fact, it was the first time that I'm carrying actually notes which I would be referring to during the discussion about this book. So first of all, about the author. So Nalin Mehta is an award-winning social scientist, journalist and author. He has been associated with publications such as the Times of India and India Today. Now coming to the book, I would say to begin with, it's the most comprehensive treatise on BJP ever written. It covers BJP's past, it covers BJP's present, it covers BJP's future, as he has a chapter dedicated to the future challenges of the BJP. What differentiates this book is that the key area of this book is on basically how BJP became the largest political party and what ensured its successive electoral victories. Interestingly, it also covers a very important point as to what are the real reasons behind BJP's victory. One can say that it's, as I mentioned at the beginning, it may be Hindutva or communalism, as is often mentioned by people, especially the liberals or the left liberals. However, Nalin Mehta in this book, through painstaking research, has mentioned the real reasons behind BJP's victory. And let me tell you, it is not Hindutva or not even Prime Minister Modi's personal appeal. So that, of course, is an important factor. So the initial part of this book is focused on understanding the reasons behind BJP's victory, and the author takes Uttar Pradesh as a case study to understand the reasons behind its victories. So one most important reason is the caste mobilization, or in fact you can say a representation of people of various castes within the Bharatiya Janata Party, from the top echelons to the booth level. The BJP built a large organization structure in Uttar Pradesh, and it gave representation to every segment of the society. So interestingly, what was once believed to be a Brahmanical party or a party of Brahmins has a lot of representations from the OBC, Dalits and other marginalized section. Not only have they built a big cadre, but they have also given responsibilities to each and every worker of the BJP up down till the booth level. It has made reservations for people in every level of the party, which includes even the booth level workers. And not only have they incorporated people from various you can say segments of the society, even the booth level worker have been given a certain kind of representation. He's being made important to feel he's responsible for something, for mobilizing the party cadre. So a representation for various segments, especially the backward caste, is what is mentioned to be one important reason. And interestingly, Nalin has used a lot of primary research and a lot of data analytics, even made his own some mathematical indexes to calculate what percentage of people of various castes were there and what representation they got. So all of this is based on primary research and is backed by a lot of data. Another very important reason is highlighted is the increasing presence of women voters, and how women voters are more attracted towards the BJP. And interestingly, these women voters are attracted towards BJP in states like Rajasthan, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, which are typically believed to be more patriarchal societies. The BJP, through its direct benefit schemes, direct welfare schemes, not only have they been able to build a large support base for itself, for example, whether it's the cooking gas cylinders, whether it's the through Jan Dhan Yojana direct benefit transfers, whether it's the amount given for building a house or building a toilets. Not only have they delivered well on that front, but in many cases they have ensured that the benefit actually reaches to the women household. So they have done a social welfare as well as they have done keeping in mind the women voter, keeping in mind the women welfare. And that, Nalin argues, is perhaps the most important, or to an extent is an overlooked reason, is that the women have been empowered under the BJP regime. Another interesting thing which Nalin has pointed out is that he has again done some data analysis on what the BJP says, and in fact that's the name of another chapter, what the BJP says. Now, as I mentioned at the outset, that BJP is typically believed to be a party which engages in some sort of you can say communalism, or speaking against minorities, or many such things. However, through data analysis, and what he has done is that he has analyzed what were the keywords in every 100 word of every speech by various BJP leaders. What he has found out is very interesting. The most used words in BJP speeches, especially Narendra Modi's speeches since 2019, is not communalism, it's not minorities, it's not Pakistan, it's not terrorism, it's Congress. So while BJP has gone very aggressive on its anti-Congress stance, but other than Congress, what the other keywords, they are basically related to farmers, they're basically related to infrastructure. And the words like you can say Pakistan or terrorism do find a mention, but not as much as we would expect. So clearly, as Nalin says, the party's focus is very clear on what message it is delivering to the electorate. It talks more about the BJP itself, which is obvious. It talks about Congress, again, of course, anti-Congress. It talks about things which are of more concern to the voter, for example, as I said, women empowerment or infrastructure or these kind of things. So this is one very interesting highlight, because as I said, that usually BJP by its critics is taken to be a party which you can say supports communalism, or goes with its communal rants and creates an atmosphere which is communally charged, and that's how it wins elections. That's a usual accusation against the BJP. But however, as Nalin's analysis suggests, and he has analyzed data since past many years, that this is what the BJP actually says. At the same time, other than the normal election speeches, he also talks about how BJP has won the digital war against Congress. Especially, you can see how many members it has on Facebook, on Twitter, or how it's creating a sort of revolution till the booth level by WhatsApp messaging. So they are having their messages, and they're making it very clear that it reaches to everyone in the party. And there he says, Nalin, that the BJP is having an absolute edge over its key, over its Congress party. After this, Nalin takes us to the past of BJP, especially how it started in 1952. It started originally as a Jan Sangh when Shyama Prasad Mukherjee expressed his disagreement against Pandit Nehru's policies related to the treatment of Hindus in Pakistan, and especially the special treatment being given to Kashmir through Article 370, wherein it had its own flag and own constitution. How they formed the Jan Sangh, which later became the Bharatiya Janata Party in 1980, after breaking away from the Janata Party coalition which was formed in 1977. After this comes a very important chapter, one of my favorite chapters in the book. The chapter is titled Where Right is Left. It is about the economics of the present day BJP. Now, when we talk of economics, everyone says that BJP is a right-wing party. However, when it comes to economics, many people argue that its record is actually mixed. It has not gone far ahead with reforms. Typical BJP supporter might have expected a lot of economic reforms, a lot of tough reforms to be taken by BJP, as it has an absolute majority in the BJP in the parliament. And even some experts go on to saying that BJP is actually a left party when it comes to economics. However, as Nalin's research suggests, that what the BJP's current focus is, of course, on the welfare of the marginalized and the poor societies. Through giving all of these welfare benefits, such as building of toilets, building of houses, gas connection, and a lot of these things, the BJP is envisaging to build a new middle class. So, and one of the data points given is that currently it is expected that, let's say, there are about 100 million middle class people in the country. They plan through these benefits to take this middle class number to somewhere around 300 or 400 or even 500 millions. And this new middle class will actually create the demand for more and more goods, which will eventually result in a more expansion of the economy. So that I believe that this research answers questions asked by many, that why is the BJP not going full throttle on reforms, and why is it getting more into the welfare state kind of thing, as many said that BJP is acting like a leftist party. So this is, as he highlights, you can see the vision of the BJP or the Prime Minister Modi about the future and about the economic policies they are believed to follow. Another interesting thing which he has talked about is, of course, RSS. It's umbilical cord between RSS and BJP. RSS is the parent organization of BJP. However, he has highlighted two important things about the RSS BJP relations, is that while they were not in a very good shape at the time of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, but that is no longer the case since Prime Minister Modi has taken the charge. In fact, while there were several differences which came out in the public at the time of Vajpayee, there are virtually almost no differences or very less differences. And nothing has been, you can say, made public. In fact, the strength of the BJP cadre or the BJP members now exceed RSS by many times. So it is usually believed that to win elections, BJP is in a sense dependent on the RSS workers, on the RSS cadre. Now it seems that the situation is changing, as BJP has a lot of strength of its own. So well, this is in short what Nalin mentions in this book. It covers how the BJP won, about the history of the BJP, about the RSS BJP relations, and as I said, a lot of insights you will find in this book. But at the end of the chapter, it also covers one very important thing, which is about the future of the BJP and what are the likely challenges. While the BJP is doing great in terms of winning elections currently, but what are the future challenges the party is likely to face? So he has highlighted some of the very important future challenges. One is, of course, the corona fallout and its impact on the economy. Now, we all know that corona impact on the economy is huge. And in order to ensure that it keeps on winning elections, what exactly will it do? Because there's a huge, you can say, impact of corona on the economy and in productivity, in terms of job loss. So how it comes across those challenges is something to be looked at. Another thing is talked about is the China border standoff. Now, BJP has often talked about, not at all compromising on national security, but what does and how does it faces the China standoff? And we all know that it's not at all an easy task to do. And while the BJP, which has always maintained a commitment for national security, what exactly will it do in the coming years? Another point is of caste coalitions, that while the BJP is giving an opportunity to people of various castes, how does it pans out in the future is very critical. But the most important question, which I think the two most important questions which were asked, is one of question of leadership after Prime Minister Modi. Who would be the next PM candidate for BJP after Narendra Modi? While he talked about Amit Shah ji and Yogi Adityanath, that they may be the likely successors of Narendra Modi, but that is an interesting observation for the future. And the last question he has asked, as posed as a challenge for the BJP, is its equation with the minorities. Now, it has often been said that are the minorities safe or are the minorities comfortable with the BJP regime is a question which the BJP still needs to answer and to provide better solutions or answers for that. He has also talked about some two very big advantages BJP has. One is, of course, a robust booth level cadre. So the BJP's it has expanded in a manner like never before. It has reached till every booth, which gives it a very special advantage. And another one is the Congress weakness. So any political observer or analyst would agree that Congress appears to be in a stage of decline, and as of today, it doesn't looks like that it will be able to provide a great alternative to the BJP in the near future. Well, this is it. I understand it's a lengthy video and the book is very detailed, but as I said, I absolutely loved reading this book. And one of the things before I end the video, I would like to mention one thing which I liked is the neutral perspective. So Nalin has written this book in a very neutral manner. So whether or not you like the BJP or you don't like the BJP, as long as you are interested in knowing about BJP and the political history of India, as I said, they two are in a way linked, you should not miss this book. And the interesting thing is that this book provides several insights which several other books on BJP have not, as far as I have read. One, for example, I would like to mention is the Akhil Bharatiya Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram, wherein it cares for the tribals in different parts of the country run by BJP and RSS. It actually has its roots, its origin at the time of Congress, and it was started by initiatives of Congress leaders. Coming to tribals, it also highlights that even in the time of Congress and way back in 1950s, it was the concern raised by many Congress ministers about the rising conversions, especially the Christian evangelical activities. So it's not something which only the BJP talks about, but in 1950s, several Congress leaders expressed their discontent over rising evangelical activities. Another important thing is on the lines of Ayodhya movement, they ran a similar movement in Karnataka as well. Now, Karnataka is interestingly the only southern state where BJP has enjoyed power for several terms. And while the support of the Lingayat community, Nalin argues, is the most important factor, but similar on the lines of the movement, there was a movement, not a very long-lived one, which was about an Eidgah Maidan and related to hoisting of the flag and construction of a building which was later termed as illegal, that also helped BJP gain mass in Karnataka. And the last thing what I mentioned is, which I found interesting, is actually about RSS. Now RSS, again by its critics, is much maligned about its understanding or its views on minorities, but he says that RSS leaders themselves say that we are changing with times, and what is believed to be one of the very controversial book by RSS, first Sar Sanchalak, We or Our Nation Undefined, the RSS does not accept that as any kind of a final book. They say that we do not take anything as a final word. The Sangh is changing, the times are changing, and so are we changing. So what you read in our previous books is not something the Sangh as such believes in, and we are definitely changing with the times. So like this, there are a lot of interesting insights, and as I said, what this book covers, not many books cover. So if you're looking for something really interesting and informative read on BJP, well, go ahead. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked the video. Please give a thumbs up if you think I did a good job, and subscribe to my channel for more updates. Thank you.